Covering news where you live, this is 5 News.
Thanks for joining us for this very special edition of 5 News. I'm Darren Bobb.
And I'm Alexandra Burnley. We wanted to do something a little different. We're focusing on the stories that made us smile this year. Our region is filled with special people who've opened their hearts up to their neighbors. We want to make sure that they're recognized for their bravery, kindness, and empathy. We're starting off with the story of a 12-year-old boy walking miles down the interstate to get his stepdad help after they crashed on a road trip.
Yeah, the family says the Oklahoma man fell asleep behind the wheel while driving through Franklin County. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer heard from that little boy who stepped in to save his dad's life.
It was a miracle. That boy saved his daddy's life.
That's Devin and Jordan Gardner, a stepfather and son headed on a road trip to Alabama.
They just got snacks and they were just having so much fun.
Trisha, Devin's wife, and Jordan's mom woke up to a call no one wants around 6 a.m.
The state trooper had called me 3 times. So I was trying to hold it together because I was trying to I didn't want to hear bad news.
Do you have a son?
Yes.
Okay, how old is he?
12.
Deputy James Graves for the Johnson County Sheriff's Office responded to a call of a boy walking on the interstate near the Altus exit on I-40. That's where he found Jordan, who has autism and speech aphasia, desperate for help.
He was frantic, to say the least. He had some communication issues, and it took us a minute to get out of him. What's wrong?
What they say at the house.
He's what?
What they say at the house.
Had crash?
Yes, oh there.
And Jordan feared the worst for his dad.
Was your dad awake when you left?
No, they.
He's dead?
Yes.
Meanwhile, Deputy Kendall Smith started looking for the crash.
24 dispatch, I found the vehicle. Looks like the vehicle crashed through a guardrail.
He found Devin and the car, but the catch, it was over 2 miles where they found Jordan.
As soon as I came to a stop, I heard a scream for help. I'm like, okay, he's like, he's not dead, he's alive. Some relief, it hit me.
Found your kid up the road flagging vehicles down, and he's the one that got us out here looking for you.
Devin severely injured.
He's alive. We have medical personnel on scene, and they're gonna take care of him, okay?
But alive.
The back windshield was busted out, the trunk was smashed open, the entire driver's side was just destroyed. The fact that the kid got out of the vehicle and that the dad was still alive was a miracle, nothing short.
And nothing too threatening on Jordan. Now Jordan is marked a hero in his family's lives, but also in these officers' eyes.
Oh, I'll remember this for a very long time. He was injured. Walk across 4 lanes of interstate traffic at nighttime and start flagging vehicles down. He's brave.
For leading them to a situation that could have been much worse.
You saved that man's life, bro.
This is why I signed up. So I get the satisfaction and the joy of making sure a dad gets to go home to his family at the end of the day.
Spending almost 2 weeks in hospitals now with injuries, Devin has a long road of recovery, says Trisha, who's actually a nursing assistant.
Even if I don't know what to do, I will figure it out. I will find out and I will be my best at it.
But she's sure he'll always be thanking Jordan for his bravery.
So what made you want to go find help?
That's it, David.
You wanted to save Devin?
Yes.
In Franklin County, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
And we did get a heartwarming update on this story just a month later.
Carter Thweet was there for a special moment as Devin reunited with Jordan, who he calls his hero.
That was the heartwarming moment Jordan reunited with his stepdad, Devin, at the Eugene Tobin Healthcare Center in North Little Rock. It's not the first time they've seen each other since the accident, but it is the first time Devin's been well enough to get out of bed and come meet his boy, according to Jordan's mom, Trisha.
It made my heart really happy that he was able to do all that.
It was also the first time Jordan's been recognized like this. The staff at the Veterans Hospital giving him a certificate and a medal, calling him a hero. Charlie Hogan is one nurse who's taken care of Devin and says she was touched by the story.
It's an honor to take care of Mr. Gardner. You know, that Jordan went all that way for his dad. You could tell that there was an extremely tight bond between father and son there.
Making Jordan's journey even more incredible, the fact that the 12-year-old has autism and speech aphasia, meaning it's sometimes tough for him to communicate. Adding to that, when he found an officer from the Johnson County Sheriff's Office, he thought it was too late.
Was your dad awake when you left?
No, dead.
He's dead?
Yes.
But miraculously, he wasn't. When officers located the crash, they heard Devin yelling for help. He says he doesn't remember the crash or anything until he woke up in a hospital a few days later. But he knows Jordan saved his life.
Apparently I was laying face down on a downgrade in this tall grass. I mean, you're not going to see or notice the car from the highway. If it hadn't been for Jordan finding them and telling them, they would have never found me. Who knows, I would have been, I guess somebody would have found me when I started stinking.
That's why this day was so special to Devin. He was able to see his stepson again and tell him how much he means to him. Understandably, it was an emotional scene.
He's my hero. He's my savior. Hey, we're going to throw football and I'm going to get well. Everything's going to be great, back to normal. We're going to go shoot the shotgun and get some doves and eat them, wrap them in bacon. And it's all because Jordan went walking.
That was Carter Thweet reporting. Devin says the staff at the VA hospital has been incredible helping him recover.
It was a rough spring for a lot of people in Benton County this year. Multiple tornadoes left a swath of damage in their wake. Homes destroyed, lives uprooted, but that didn't stop people from pitching in to help out. Countless organizations and volunteers stepped up when their neighbors needed it the most. Morgan Wrigley got the chance to talk with leaders from Sheepdog Impact Assistance who went door to door helping storm victims.
I did have a tree that went through the roof of my bedroom ceiling, and while it was all raining, the ceiling collapsed over my bed, and that room's pretty much destroyed, but it's okay. I wasn't sleeping in that bed.
After Sunday morning storms, countless Arkansans have similar stories to Rogers resident Terry McKay.
My next neighbor was calling me and help me through it.
And as friends and neighbors are now helping each other pick up the pieces, many agencies are working day in and day out to help, including volunteers from Rogers-based nonprofit Sheepdog Impact Assistance.
The majority of what we've been doing is chainsaw work, clearing roads and driveways, allowing people to get in and out of their homes.
While they've seen progress over the last 4 days, Sergeant Major Lance Nutt says the effort is far from over.
Every time we roll into a new neighborhood, there's a sense of it's not going to end when it comes to finding damage. The community is just now starting to get a hand around just how much work needs to be done.
And he says the greatest challenge of all.
People feeling like they need a little bit of hope. They need to feel like things are going to get back to normal.
Support that left McKay and her longtime friend and neighbor, Marge Moon, moved.
I honestly don't have the words because I didn't expect this. There's more people that I'm sure need the help more than me, but I can't say anything. I'm so happy.
Nutt says his team is taking the effort day by day, still focused on disaster recovery.
By the weekend, you're going to see a lot of volunteers come out that are going to really put a big dent in some of the needs here. And probably by Monday, Tuesday, we'll start to wrap up recovery and response efforts, and then we'll probably transition into just helping with the cleanup efforts.
Adding, while they normally serve communities around the country, it's especially meaningful to be working in their own.
Going out into communities that we're not from is powerful because they're fellow Americans, but helping your home, working in your own backyard, helping the people that you work with every day, you dine with, you pass on the road, whatever that might be, it's a little more special.
In Rogers, covering news where you live, Morgan Wrigley, 5 News.
It's about the fellowship, it's about caring for people. It's about the love that we find in the Rogers community.
Through the Church of Christ disaster relief effort, Paul Woodall's church is a hub for distributing much-needed resources.
They have semi-truck trailers ready to go, full of disaster relief supplies.
Each day, a truckload of items is dropped off early in the morning, completely filling up the room.
From babies all the way up to men's, multiple sizes of shoes and clothing, underwear, socks, bras for women.
And everything is almost gone by late evening.
This is our personal care box, so it's going to have deodorant, shampoo, first aid kits, body wash, anything that just kind of helps you feel clean.
Southside Church of Christ is very close to where Rogers saw a bulk of their damage, and they even saw some themselves. This used to be a huge stained glass window, but that's not stopping them from helping out their community in a time of need.
Well, the building was unusable Sunday morning. Glass blew in at tremendous speeds. We had some water damage, and we had some roof damage on this building.
Volunteers willing to spend their time in the dark and with no AC to serve others.
Rogers is exactly what I thought it was, and it is the place that I want to raise my kids, because even in times like disasters, they come together.
And even with damage to their church, they see the light at the end of the tunnel by helping their neighbors.
This daunting challenge of rebuilding a city that has taken such a blow from apparently several tornadoes. So to see the love and the help, it means everything.
In Rogers, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
On Halloween, severe storms swept through Washington County and dropped a tornado near Prairie Grove. Trees were knocked down, power was out, but one couple decided to step up for their neighbors. Morgan Wrigley was there as they served up a hot meal after a scary night.
Many in Prairie Grove woke up to power outages and, for some, severe damage to their homes from overnight storms that came through the area. Well, after that scary night, one family found a way to bring a little bit of brightness to their neighbors.
It got really loud outside, kind of scary, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go get my daughter, and I did. And it all went by really quickly, but we went outside and we didn't have a driveway over here.
Kyle and Isabella Norris were among those who woke up to storm damage and power outages in Prairie Grove on Thursday morning. Knowing their neighbors were in the same boat, they had an idea to fire up the charcoal grill and cook breakfast for anyone who wanted to stop by.
I was just like, I'll post on Facebook, see if anybody wants to come by, and I expected maybe 20 people to see it, and I was like, we have like 300 people, and he was like, I'll cook till the food runs out, and we've had people stop by.
Not all of the hundreds of people who showed their support actually showed up, but the ones who did were grateful for the gesture.
If we can make someone's life a little easier today just by giving them breakfast, that's one meal they don't have to worry about.
Including their next-door neighbors, the Kemps, who have extensive damage on their property.
My neighbor comes knocking on the door telling me my truck was had a tree on it.
Yeah, the truck's been crushed, the camper was crushed. There's not a top to any of the trees. There's, 4 big trees right here down, and then 4 in our yard and on our house. So it went from being an actual, grove and shaded and very cool to now you can see blocks all around.
During an otherwise somber morning, the invitation from their neighbors came as a pleasant surprise.
I was like, well, I have paper plates, and then other people started bringing eggs and stuff. So the community's clearly, pulling through. We all barely know each other, but we know we're going to be here for each other, kind of thing.
And the outpouring of support, the Norrises say, shows the strength of this close-knit community, especially in hard times.
I've always had that small town culture. It's part of me. We want our kids to have that kind of culture and value systems where it's like, hey, help your neighbor in times like that and just really come together.
In August, we got to meet 11-year-old Adam Leach. He got to spend the day with the Springdale Fire Department to learn about what it takes to be a firefighter. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi shows us how Adam went to having thousands of seizures every day to helping some of the city's finest with their work.
Engine 1 respond. Fire 11th Avenue.
He lives this. At home, he lives as if he's one of the guys. He's a rookie. We tell him he's a rookie right now, but he lives it. He wants to know everything about what they do.
With the help of the Springdale Fire Department, 11-year-old Adam Leach had the opportunity to hang out with some of the city's bravest, and he fit right in.
And this kid, he has really fought, and he's shown bravery through his journey, trying to get better, not for only himself, for his family as well. And for everything that kid has gone through, it's a great day when I could see a smile on a kid's face like that. We get to make his day.
When Adam was just 5 years old, he began having constant seizures, causing him to spend days on end in the hospital.
He had thousands of seizures, and on a good day, it was hundreds. If he had them every 2 or 3 minutes, that was a good day. So he's missed his first 4 year, kindergarten through third grade. He has missed all of that because he wasn't able to do much. So now we're playing catch up.
Adam's family says he had a severe form of epilepsy, and after years of trying to find a solution, one finally came at Le Bonheur Children's Hospital in Memphis in the form of a craniotomy.
They did a resection. They took a cutie size orange out, and from the moment he woke up from surgery, it was as if it was a nap. He never had another seizure. Today marks 18 months of seizure freedom. So this is a celebration.
After meeting the Springdale Fire Department at National Night Out, the department knew they had to give Adam the opportunity of a lifetime.
This is amazing. We gotta let him come to the fire station, kind of come check things out, and he is a fighter. And that's being a firefighter. You got to have bravery. You got to do stuff that you're uncomfortable with doing sometimes to help the public out.
And while Adam continues to make up for lost time, his family says that whether it's firefighting or surgery, Adam is fearless through it all. In Springdale, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
In April, we got a front row seat to history as the path of the total solar eclipse cut through our area. It was an amazing day, and we also learned a lot. We even got to meet Parker Lane Brown, who was born right as the 2017 partial solar eclipse was passing through. We covered that story then and got to meet with the family 7 years later. For the eclipse back in April, her family was excited to actually watch this one instead of sitting in a hospital room.
She was born during an eclipse. But that had nothing to do with what just made her special to us.
You've heard of New Year's babies, you've heard of leap day babies. What about solar eclipse babies?
We were actually scheduled to be induced on Tuesday, and they asked us to come in a day early, so we went in Monday morning not really prepared to have a baby that day.
Parker Lane Brown, born August 21st at 1:21 p.m., which also happened to be the partial solar eclipse of 2017.
Everyone had been talking about that day for so much, like the August 21st, it's going to be such a, once in a lifetime thing.
Her mom and dad, Aaron and Joey, recall what happened that once in a lifetime day.
Oh, it's going to be quiet. We're going to get to look at the eclipse through the window. It was about to be eclipse time, and they had checked me, and I was just dilated to a 4.
Just 20 minutes later,
and all of a sudden I was like, I think I'm about to have the baby. The eclipse was happening, and we had the doctor in and the nurses, and Joey barely made it in, and she was born.
Maybe the eclipse played a part into this fast delivery.
You hear all the time about full moons and stuff like that causing kids to act crazy. Something is going on with the earth.
7 years later.
She's the sweetest.
She's funny, silly, quietly smart. She didn't even know until recently that she was the eclipse baby.
A little distracted when the darkness passed through.
We didn't get to see the eclipse. We missed it totally, and we didn't care about it at that point.
But this time, it's a different story. The Browns say this year's eclipse will definitely be special.
We're going to keep them home from school and just to get to sit out together and see what it looks like.
And celebrate their eclipse baby.
Maybe we can have a cake. Should we make a cake?
That says Happy Eclipse.
It says Happy Eclipse.
That was Lauren Spencer reporting the next solar eclipse will be in 2044. Parker will be about 27. Hopefully we'll be able to check in on her again then too.
This September, more than 100 West Fork elementary students are learning that big things can happen no matter how young you are. 5 News reporter Kayla Davis was there when a local 10-year-old handed out books authored by none other than himself.
Solomon Donahoe is not your average 10-year-old. Solomon spent the majority of his summer working on a book drive. His goal? Raise enough money to give 1,000 books to 1,000 kids. What sets Solomon apart? The book he's donating is one he wrote himself, The Legend of DJ Awesomeness. Monday morning, he got a jump start on reaching kids in his community, gifting 150 of his books to West Fork Elementary 3rd and 4th graders.
We knew that our students would be inspired and encouraged through his bravery and his willingness to share his books with us. and share his ideas on how he got the book and all the processes that went behind that.
Solomon's mom, Nicole, says he was inspired to write the book when he couldn't find any about his own passion, DJing. Nicole, an author herself, helped him through that process.
Writing a book is hard. He doesn't sugarcoat it. It took him a while. It took him about a year to write the book, and he had to sit down and make time to write it.
Now his commitment is inspiring other kids.
When they received the book, they immediately started opening it and reading it and diving into it. And so exciting. That's what education is all about.
So far, Solomon's collected more than 650 books, but they're not done yet.
We also left it open on our website, teddyfly.com, so that if people want to sponsor books, we'll continue to give them away as they're sponsored.
All for a good cause.
I am doing it because I have Last Kids on Earth books at home, and they're like really expensive, and lots of people can't really get books.
In West Fork, covering news where you live, Kayla Davis, 5 News.
We've also heard stories of amazing reunions this past year, including a Eureka Springs woman who, after 7 days, 6 airports, hundreds of tips, and a trip to North Carolina, finally met back up with her dog who went missing. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer shows us how Disco the dog ended up in North Carolina in the first place, plus how 2 communities came together to make the family whole again.
We have her. You got her? We have her.
Awesome. I can't even begin to tell you all the wonderful things about her personality. She's just one of a kind. I love her so much.
That's Habuki Shepman, reuniting with her dog Disco after quite the journey. Habuki and her husband own a food truck in Eureka Springs named Disco's Grill after their beloved dog. They were on their way to Atlanta when she found out Disco was missing on December 28th.
My housekeeper gets a hold of us to ask if we had taken Disco with us. And that's when it all started, and I realized that she is gone.
At first, she thought she slipped out of the gate at their house and put up flyers and searched for days around Eureka Springs.
I've been working in 48-hour blocks. I'll stay up for 2 days, sleep, stay up for 2 days. So that night I stayed up and just pored over the internet.
Habuki's friend Anthony Corbin was one of the people watching her house.
She's had a tendency to run off once or twice before, but she doesn't go far. She always comes home. We were really concerned when she didn't come home.
After tips from people all over the internet, Eureka Springs, and Tarboro, North Carolina.
We heard that there might be potential sighting in North Carolina. My wife contacted some Humane Society people up there and found a social media page. Just the next day, she was sighted. It was amazing.
Habuki flew to North Carolina and, with help from the community, finally found Disco outside someone's house on Thursday.
When I was walking up, she looked at me and she just looked, and I pulled the hat off, and immediately she was like, oh, you're here. You're here.
She says she later found out someone she knew had driven Disco all the way to North Carolina and ended up getting in a car accident, which led to the dog jumping out of the car and stranded in Tarboro. She says she's unsure if she'll press charges on the person who took Disco across the country, but for right now, she's just happy to be reunited with her dog.
The response was just incredible. I'm really proud of our community.
I knew that all my friends knew about it. I knew that they all cared about Disco, and they were all pushing it out there. But today, it became really apparent to me in real time how many people that I don't know that know me and know Disco.
In Eureka Springs, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Well, if you've spent any time in downtown Springdale or have gone to any of the events put on by their Downtown Alliance, there's a good chance you were met by a smiling face. Tommy Evans is a Springdale man bound to his wheelchair after a bull riding accident back in the 90s, but neighbors say his wheelchair is due for an upgrade. 5 News reporter Jose Carranza met with Tommy's neighbor and shows us how the community is ready to give back.
A wave and a smile spreads love and joy in Springdale.
He's just sort of an icon for downtown.
Amber Paradin's talking about everyone's favorite neighbor, Tommy Evans.
I met Tommy when I was about 10 or 11 years old. It's just been powerful, even as a young kid, to make friends with an adult that because he quite physically just could sit there and listen and talk.
You'll find Tommy in downtown or at many of Springdale's events.
He feels like his mission in life is just to bring joy to people.
Stickers on his scooter, flowers in his basket, all things you'll remember about Tommy, but ask him about his cowboy hat and you'll learn there's strength in his smile.
He's a big-hearted cowboy that he still wears his old cowboy hat from the bull riding accident. He's very proud of it. He was thrown from a bull, but his foot remained in the stirrup, and he was thrown onto a fence and just kind of got tangled up with the bull and was in a coma for 9 months.
Tommy jokes saying the bull gave him a vacation. Now with a life full of faith and friends, he says to expect the unexpected.
I want to be thankful because there's so many things to help me.
With the weather getting better, Tommy is ready to make his way downtown. Only this time, his neighbors say he needs a new scooter.
It's important that he's able to be at those because he is alone and lives alone, and this is his social life. He's otherwise isolated, and so we want to get him back out here and keep him healthy and keep him around a long time.
For a man giving so much love and joy, the community is ready to give back.
This year, a Bella Vista woman celebrated her birthday in style with a motorcycle tour around town.
Yeah, the catch, she's 104, but as a Leap baby, she's technically only 25. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer introduces us to Evelyn Eels and shows us how she cruises through life with no regrets.
Isn't it beautiful? I'm enjoying it. I'm just on cloud 9. I never wanted to come down.
Evelyn Eels had one wish for her 104th birthday. A motorcycle ride around Bella Vista.
How old are you turning today?
25.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, thank you. I've wanted to go on this ride for 104 years.
She hasn't been on a motorcycle in more than 75 years. And she says she wasn't too sure why she chose to do this.
I have no idea. I guess I'm just a daredevil.
I wasn't scared for her. I just thought, you're really going to do this?
Teresa Krupper is Evelyn's great niece.
She just has basically become my second mom. She's an amazing lady. She has a Facebook. She does Sudoku, crossword puzzles. She reads avidly. Just very active.
A 10-minute loop around Bella Vista with the whole community cheering her on.
Loved it. Waved at everybody along the way. Everybody's parked aside the road to watch me go by, and hey!
And for her 105th birthday, she says she expects a similar celebration.
Anytime the fellas are ready, I am.
In Bella Vista, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Those are always so much fun to watch.
I want to be like her.
My goodness.
I love that. Well, we want to thank everyone who allowed us to tell your stories this year. It's an honor and a privilege.
Yeah, we hope to continue to tell your stories of bravery, empathy, and kindness into the new year. And for now, that will do it for us. Thanks for joining us tonight. Don't forget, you can catch the special on demand with our 5+ app.
Have a great night, everyone.